Hey y'all, if you have the Native Slayer Max Propel and you're considering mounting your fish finder and you're considering where you're going to put it, you might want to watch this video. Stay tuned. So guys, if you didn't see my other video, I'll link it up in the YouTube card, but that's when I installed this Humminbird. It's a 10-inch Mega Side Imaging Gen 3 unit, and when I did it, I used the ram ball, so I've got some versatility with where it is. I can rotate it around, rotate it back a little bit, but one thing I have noticed is it is below my cast, so I don't have a problem casting, but I just feel like it would be better if I had it somewhere else. And that somewhere else, because I am a right-handed fisherman, is on the other side. But one thing that I've heard people complain about this kayak is that the sacrificial plate that you can use for your switches and putting stuff through is only on one side. But I've got a really simple solution for that. And I'm going to show you guys that so that I can move this to the other side. So we're going to disconnect the back here. We're going to take this off, unscrew this ram arm here. So now I got the ram ball here. So what I want to do with that is unscrew these thumb screws here. And you don't have to do it all the way. All you have to do is do it enough to get it loose, and then we will take it all the way up here and just take it out. So now I'm just going to do the exact opposite on the other side. So I'm going to put the ram ball back on this side, and I'm going to locate it basically in the same position on this side. You can adjust this so it's not permanent, and then get my sonar unit. I'm going to put it right there. Like I said, you can take this ball and move it all around, so that's nice. You can also lay it flat if you're standing and fishing. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to just do it like this for now. And I like, with this large of a unit, I actually will cant it to the side a little bit. It gives you a little bit more leg room when you're using your pedal drive system, and you can still use and manipulate the screen. So I got that mounted there. So the next problem is how to get the transducer and the battery, wiring system to the back. So for this purpose of this one, I'm actually going to have to extend some wires. So you see the wires come through here, but I'm just going to do a simple solution. And I'm going to have to extend these wires so that I'm going to have more slack to pull through here. So here you got my front battery compartment, and up here I've got this battery that runs like my accessories, my lights and all that stuff. It also runs like a USB, so I can use it to charge my GoPros or my phone. But this one is the one that powers all of that key stuff, or that powers the sonar unit. All right, so back to what I was saying. So one is for the charger, which I pulled off here, and that's for the quick disconnect for the battery charger. Let's put that right there. The other one right here, and this one this one here and this one here are for I have a voltmeter that I mounted back in my little spot back there where you can put all your accessories on that sacrificial plate. And then finally the last one here is just this one, and that goes to the sonar. So this is going to be the one that I'm going to have to extend. Alright, so I got all the tape off this here. So I'm just going to make some fresh ends here. And then that way, what I always like to do, especially with something like this, is you can use like, you know, a butt connector. A lot of people will just twist the wires and, you know, hope for the best. But for me, with something like this, I'm going to actually solder this, or, and, you know, like make sure that this is a really good connection on these wires. So I got my wires. I went ahead and spliced them right here. If you're curious about how to do that, you can look on YouTube on how to do it. I got my solder here and then my soldering iron. And so when I do this kind of stuff on my kayak, I always like to put down a board. That way that you are protecting your kayak in case you drop the soldering iron. You don't want it like melting through your hull. So guys, I got this soldered now. I'm going to take a break and go inside and make a hot cup of coffee, some of that magical bean water. And that way when I get back, this should be cool enough to where I can tape it and start pulling the wires through a little bit further. That way I can do the rest of the project. So I went ahead and got these wires wrapped. So got that all wrapped up. So now I'm just going to have to pull the power wires through. I need to get enough space to allow that to go across. I'm just going to guesstimate with how far. I'm going to probably say maybe about like 3 feet. I mean, I'd rather have more and just put it down inside the kayak. That way that I have it for future use if I ever need it, rather than just undershooting it. So I'm probably going to have to pull this all the way out because I'm not going to be able to pull that through that fitting. So I'm going to have to take the backer off this fitting. And if you're curious about how I installed this originally for these through hole fittings, I'm going to link that video in the YouTube card so that you all can reference that and see how to install these through hole fittings. So I got that pulled through. So the key thing, like I said, I need more link for this. Down in the hole here, I've got, this is all the transducer cable. So there's plenty of slack here for this to be able to be adjusted. So I'm actually just going to cut these zip ties that I had put on here to kind of do some wire management down inside of the hole. Probably could have chose a better pair of pliers rather than using wire strippers, but it works. And so now we are ready to go back to the sacrificial plate and pull more wire through. And oh yeah, while we're here, I've got this wire here. This is going to be the new one that runs to the battery. So I'm just going to give myself a length across, and that should be plenty. And I'm just going to go and snip that off, and I'll have to put new terminal ends on that. So I'm thinking here, I should just be able to pull this through. I don't want to pull that all the way out. So this is a little tight, but I think with some little bit of just pulling this through, that way I don't have to take that entire sacrificial plate all the way off. What I'm doing is I'm holding in that little rubber fitting here and just pulling on one wire at a time. If I try to pull both of them, it seems to want to pop out. So what I'm measuring for here is I'm going to go ahead and hook this up here. Take it around the outside. I'm going to go ahead and hook it up. So I'm going to set that like basically how I think I'll have it. And what I'm measuring for here is to make sure that I got these Night Eyes gear tie things. And if you've never seen these, they're actually really handy to have on a kayak. I went ahead and got some new ones because the old ones that I had were really faded and worn. But the purpose of these is to tie down those straps. So I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of cable here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the seat basically as I'm just going to pull out just a little bit more. I'm going to attach these wires back to the seat to try to clean up this install. Now, and the reason why I'm doing this is because if you want, when you're transporting this kayak, maybe if you have it in the back of your truck or something, you can take this whole seat base out. But 9 times out of 10, I trailer this kayak on this kayak trailer, so I usually just leave the seat in. I mean, the only reason I would take it out is if I was thinking I was going to somewhere that, you know, I'm going to get looted or something like that. So these Night Eyes straps, in fact, I'll use a bright one just so you all can see, they're like a metal. They have like a metal inside them, but they hold their shape. So I can do this and wrap this around, and that's going to keep that wire tucked up there on that seat bar. And I'll probably take another one and just like put it like right here. So the kit that I got comes with several different colors, so I will link that down in the YouTube card, and those are affiliate links, so if you click on that, it'll be supporting my channel here and just kind of getting started with this whole channel deal, and I appreciate y'all clicking on those links and checking out the stuff that I'm using for my kayak. I appreciate each and every one of you coming by. When I first did this install, I had several people comment on my video and say, hey, you know, how do you feel like that's going to work out on that side since you are right-handed? I did it for a while, but it just was an inconvenience. I wouldn't say it was necessarily bad, but it was just an inconvenience, and I found myself like hitting it with the rod, and I just think it'll be more natural for me to have it on that left-hand side. And my original concept with having it on the right side was the fact that this kayak has the rudder on the left-hand side, and I was thinking, well, if I'm scooting along with my pedal drive and I need to mark something, I want to be able to have my left hand on the rudder and my right hand free to type on the screen, but I can reach over and do it. So that accomplishes that, and it'll kind of be out of my way. I just freaking whack that whenever I make a cast. So I think it's going to be a better solution for me. I'm going to try to get out this week and test it out and just see what I think. Hopefully hitting some new water this week, and I'm freaking excited about that. I'm really thinking I might be able to go somewhere I've not been in a long time. So stay tuned for that video, and as always guys, I appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget to get outside, do something awesome, and take somebody with you if you get a chance. See you guys in the next one.